All right, well, hey, everybody. We are here with the man, the myth, the legend of country music, Mr. Tracy Lawrence, one of our headliners at the North Texas Fair and Rodeo, playing August 24th. Make sure you get your tickets at ntfair.com. Tracy, I am a huge fan. Grew up on your music. Can't break it to my heart. Got me through a lot of breakups, man.
Awesome.
I mean, like 2 breakups, but you know, but man, this is a big honor for me. I really do appreciate the time. Thanks for meeting with us.
Well, thank you. I'm glad y'all came. Looking forward to playing the fair again. It's always a fun time.
It's going to be awesome. Really looking forward to it. So you got a new album coming out, Made in America.
Yes.
Drops August 16th, ironically the opening night of the North Texas Fair and Rodeo.
Cool.
And you have said that this is probably one of your most personal records. For those listening and watching, can you give them a little taste, a little synopsis of what's to come on this record?
You know, I think what made this album really unique of all the projects that I've done in the past, and you know, it seems like when you get done with a record, most of the time you're really proud of it. There's some great songs on there, but I've never committed so much time and wrote so much for an album. I wrote 8 of the 12 things on this project. 3 other things on the record came from staff writers from my publishing company over the years that I went back and dug out. So I only cut 1 outside song, and Chris Stapleton wrote it. Chris Stapleton and Sean Camp, so I think I'm in pretty good company. So, you know, there were several things that kind of led me to writing more of the record. I initially went through my typical process of, you know, usually I write in conjunction when I'm going to publishing meetings and meeting with different publishers trying to find songs for that. I'm trying to wrestle down the direction that you want the project to go. This time as I went out and looked for music, it didn't seem like there was a lot of really traditional country, and the stuff that I was finding seemed very dated. And there's some great writers in town, but over the last, 10, 15 years, music has shifted and writers are writing to different directions. There's more, bro country, and just the whole process has changed a little bit. So kind of by the situation, it kind of pushed me to the direction that if I knew what I wanted and I wasn't finding what I wanted. That's not to say there weren't some great songs out there, but I was looking for something different, and I wanted to create an album that was 90s in feel, that was really traditional country, but at the same time I didn't want it to overlap and feel like it was just a bunch of stuff that I'd already done before. I wanted everything to be different and stand on its own, and I think I was able to achieve that this time. As I got through different pieces of the album, I would evaluate it and say, okay, I got my rocking section, I've cut a real cool waltz, I've got my mid tempos, and so as you kind of go through the process, I knew what I was looking for and what I needed. The strange thing about this record is, up until I wrote the very last track on the album, which happened to be Made in America, I had another title in mind. We were working in a different direction about how we were going to package the record, what the feel of the album was going to be, and then I went in and had this idea about writing an Americana song, and had a writing schedule with Rick Huckabee and Adam Sanders, and I threw the idea at him, and I'm telling you what, in less than 2 hours we had written Made in America, and it was done. Now when we went in and tracked it, I wanted that kind of American anthem kind of thing. I wanted it to be really big, and when we tracked it, I knew that the whole focus of the album had shifted, and that was going to be the overall centerpiece of the whole record.
Very cool. Well, and Made in America is out right now for people to get to check out.
It is, yes.
So if you haven't checked it out, make sure you go and do so, because it's a great single.
And we're opening the show with it. I didn't think there was a better way to set the tone for the show, so that's where we've been since the single came out.
Very cool. So look forward to that. Yeah. So going back a little bit down memory lane, 2007, you released a different version of Find Out Who Your Friends Are with Tim McGraw and Kenny Chesney.
Yes.
Fans loved it. Labels didn't love it quite as much, eventually culminating in a cease and desist. You have been a champion for artists creating the music that they want to create, the way they want to create it, the way the fans want to hear it. It's been 12 years since that point. How have you seen the music industry evolve since that time, or has it?
I think it's changed a lot. There was really something interesting that happened through that whole process. I get asked all the time. So when you reached out to Tim and Kenny to be on that project, what was the process like? I was like, I picked up the phone and called them, and they said yes. They didn't ask anybody. They didn't talk to anybody. They came in. We scheduled a time. They came in and did a vocal on the record. Boom, boom, boom. It was mixed. It was done.
Love it.
We did 2 versions on the album, and really, what the cool thing was, what a lot of people don't realize is the way that we had the record set up. There was a solo version that had me on it, and then the trio was just a bonus track on the album.
Yeah.
So when we singled the solo version that was out there, the radio stations just started pulling the trio version of it off by themselves, but it was the same record. So
right.
we weren't really working the trio version. That's just how it happened. So, but as we kind of got through that process, and we were able to take that record #1, which was probably at that point the highlight of my whole career, because I felt like we were kind of going against the grain, against the entire industry. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
But I saw some things change on the backside of that. You know, we won Vocal Event of the Year at the CMA and the ACM Award.
Wow.
And I noticed that the criteria for those awards have changed. I noticed that as an independent artist getting a promotion staff, things got a lot more expensive. That's kind of the game was restructured. The rules changed a little bit on the other side, and it seemed like it became harder for an independent artist to play the radio game.
Really?
So it really, they kind of changed some things around after that. And I don't know if anybody's really been able to do that again from an independent level. Without having a full staff and a full promotion staff with a group of artists around them. I think they really made it a little bit more difficult to ever see that happen again.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I feel like you've been a champion for artists and doing their own thing and doing their, so I know there's a lot of love from a lot of artists for you. You've always been a very entrepreneurial guy, a very entrepreneurial artist. You've got Rocky Comfort Records, you got Lawrence
Yes.
Music Group, all of that. How has that entrepreneurship allowed you to do your music differently than other artists?
I think from my perspective, I've always looked at the artist as just kind of a product. You know, let's say if you're trying to get shelf space at a grocery store and you've got a brand new can of whatever it is, I've always been able to compartmentalize and step out of what me personally is, and I don't talk about myself in third person or any of that stuff, which I feel is a little bit weird sometimes. But I think that being able to step back and look at it objectively, you're able to make better decisions about the marketing strategy and the things that you choose to do around that brand and around that product and what your long-term goals are. It's easier if you step out of it and you make it not personal. You just make it the product. But from the music side, it's extremely personal to me. So I compartmentalize things really well. That way I can be objective about what I do when it comes to marketing. But I've always been really headstrong about making the music that I wanted to make, even back to my very first record when I got signed to Atlantic. You know, I was very adamant about what I wanted to record, how I wanted to go about it. The label had luckily gave me a lot of latitude over the years because I had success early. But I have peers out there that were forced to cut stuff that had a lot of success with it. Now they're at a later stage of their life and they're miserable singing it every night. I don't fall into that category. I loved the things when I cut them, and because I was so personally attached to them 30 years ago, I still love them today. I still love getting on stage singing Sticks and Stones every night, and I'm blessed to have that.
That's very cool. Yeah. So I've always wanted to ask you this. If I Don't Make It Back, great tune,
yeah.
Very powerful tune, very serious tune. But I've always said if I meet Tracy, I gotta ask him this question. When you said the line at the very end, well, Miller Lite ain't my brand. Did you ever catch any flack from Miller for that, or was everything cool?
And I was a little disappointed. I really thought that they would load up a semi full of Miller Lite and back it up to the office right here and just unload all of it, because you would think if they were trying to prove a point that they would have just sent me a whole bunch of beer. Because I might, possibly, you never know, I might have given it a shot.
I love it. Very cool. Very cool. So, all right. So, similar vein in refreshments. All right. So you're playing a show. You've just finished it up. You're leaving the stage. What's the first thing you grab for? What's the ritual? Is it a cheeseburger? Is it a beer? Is it a Little Debbie? Now be careful, because whatever you say, there's going to be about 5,000 of them waiting for you at the North Texas Fair and Rodeo. So
you know, it's typically sit down and grab a beer.
Okay.
I mean, as soon as I get done, wipe the sweat off and kind of chill out for a little bit. It takes me a little bit. Yeah, I try to leave it all out on the stage as much as I can. Yeah, cold beer, especially in the summertime, as hot as it's been right now, doing outside shows, cold beer is definitely in order.
You're the man.
Yeah.
All right. So you've been a chart topper since the early '90s. You co-created the musical Storming Heaven. You have your radio show, Honky Tonkin' with Tracy Lawrence, on 91 radio stations now, maybe more.
Like right there.
You had the Christmas album Frozen in Time just a year ago. Just a year before that, you had Good Old Days, which was #1 on iTunes.
Yep.
You're now releasing Made in America. Man, are you ever going to stop, or are you just going to take over the whole world? I love all the different areas you've been able to be a part of. What's coming next for Tracy Lawrence?
You know, I love being creative, and I love being able to focus on projects at a time. And I've learned over the years to finally get to the point when I'm done, I'm able to put it down and walk away from it and say I'm done with it and move on. And I don't know what the next project is. I'm working with an acting coach out in L.A. I'd really like to find myself in some movies. I've done a couple of really bad B-grade movies that we don't want to talk about, but you got to start somewhere.
Yep.
But I would really like to see some things happen in regards to that. I'd love to do some voiceover work. I love the History Channel and documentaries and things. I think I would do really well with some of that. And however far we're able to take Storm in Heaven, if we're able to get it to Broadway or just a short run around the country, I would like to kind of see that through to the end and maybe take on a new project, find another book and dive a little bit more into the script side of it, because I've never done that. We've talked about possibly starting a production company and bringing some scripts in and working on some stuff to kind of make our own movies. I think there's an avenue for that, especially for an older artist my age trying to break into it. We may have to create our own path. But, dude, I like to work. I mean, it's just, I like it. Love the creative process. I block time early on in the year. I know when I'm going to be off. The rest of the time, fill it up. Let's go.
I love it. So Eric Polito got to ask Clay Walker this last year, and we love the question so much we want to make it tradition for North Texas Fair and Rodeo. So this is our own version of Marry One, Kill One, Something One. But it's write, tour, duet. Okay, if you had to pick 3 artists, one you have to write with, one you get to tour with, one you get to duet with, who would they be?
Write, tour, duet. Okay. I would love to write with Ronnie Dunn.
Okay. Awesome.
Yep. I would love to, probably right now, I think I'd love to tour with Luke Combs. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And what was the third one?
Duet.
A duet. You know, there's a couple of people that I'd love to duet with. Leanne Womack's probably my favorite female singer in the business. I'd love to do a duet with her, maybe somewhere down the road. Love the opportunity to sing with George Strait. I think that'd be great.
That would be cool. Yeah. That would be awesome. All right, well, time marches on. We are out of time. You like that?
Yeah,
so if you want your chance to get to see this country music legend, please get your tickets for the North Texas Fair and Rodeo. He's performing August 24th. Get your tickets at ntfair.com. And I'm going to make a prediction that we are going to see one of the best nights at North Texas Fair and Rodeo. Awesome. Your annual award-winning Mission Possible, which is your turkey frying concert, raises money for homeless and hungry in Louisville, Nashville, and Dallas.
That's right.
For those that don't know, Dallas is a small suburb outside of Denton. And so you have a lot of love and a lot of fans in the North Texas area that are really looking forward to seeing you. So I think it's going to be an awesome, awesome night. Guys, check him out August 24th. Also, make sure you get the record Made in America, dropping August 16th.
That's it.
Which is also, ironically, the opening night of the North Texas Fair and Rodeo. Again, ntfair.com for your tickets. Tracy, thank you so much for the time. We really, really do appreciate it.
See you guys in Denton.